Thank you again for joining us for week 2 of the ADA celebration. We have a packed agenda for you today, and we will be getting started in about 2 minutes.
So it looked like Jeff is out of the office, so I reached out to one of the other team members there, and they are checking to see where our captioner is at.
Excellent. Oh, there she is.
Oh,
Got her. All right. Thank you again for being here. We're going to just need a few more seconds. Okay. All right, we have captioner assigned. We're going to wait to get our link, and then we will get started. Thank you so much for your patience. Happy ADA celebration week 2. There is still a steady stream of folks joining us, so we're just going to give it a few more seconds here. Joseph, when you're ready, you can start kicking it off.
All right, yeah. So we'll go ahead and get started. First up on the screen is a little bit of housekeeping for you. This is a message that we're going to play to let you know how to access our Spanish translator. Rose, go ahead and play that. Rose, that did not play.
I must have forgot to select audio. Give me just 1 second.
Si necesita interpretación en español, hay un icono en la parte inferior de su pantalla con un globo terráqueo que dice Interpretación y se necesita escoger Spanish. Gracias.
We hear that time?
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So first off, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for week 2 of the ADA celebration. I'm Joseph Lowe. I work for the Community Service and Supports Unit within Aging People with Disabilities. My role is Program Analyst for the Disability Services Advisory Councils throughout the state, and also coordinator for the Oregon Disabilities Commission. We wanted to just start today with a few community agreements for you. So that's what you're seeing on the screen now. We also, as you can see on your screens, we have the ASL interpreters. We do have the Spanish interpreting that you can access. We also have the link in your chat so that you can access the stream for CART if you need that. Okay, so starting with the community agreements, access notes, listen to your bodies, feel free to move around, use restrooms, stretch, grab a snack, whatever you may need while we're in our webinar today, and take those breaks as you need. Next slide, Rose.
Betsy.
Yes, but all it would do is give me faxes. It wouldn't let me talk to nobody. I want to talk to someone because this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Hey, we need you to mute your microphone if you are not part of our panels today, please.
All right. Next up on the virtual meeting etiquette, check if your name and pronouns, if you use them, are correct. Mute your microphone when not speaking. State your name before speaking. That helps with our interpreters and especially with captioning. Be present without the distraction and be respectful in the chat. This is a celebration time, not a place to argue, call out, or any side conversation. Next slide. And for the first time this year, anyone that works for an agency or an employer that allows continuing education credits, if you use this QR code and the link that you have on your screen now, it will help you check and see if you can get your continuing education credits through your employer. All right. So then next up is we wanted to give some of our partners an opportunity to welcome you as well and let you know who they are and the work that their organization does. First up is Jim Davis. He is former chair for the Oregon Disabilities Commission, and he'd like to share a little bit about the history of the celebration event overall and some of the ADA. So Jim, over to you.
Well, thank you, Joseph. And certainly I want to recognize you and the amazing work that you do on the ADA. I've been involved in this for probably 15 to 20 years, and you've just been a foundation for us. And I want to thank the ODC, who do amazing work for people with disabilities and marking their chair, and of course the ADA Center and their wonderful support, and Disability Rights Oregon and the great defending they do and work they do. We so very much appreciate them. But today, and of course the stakeholders, you're the foundation of our being. And so I certainly thank you as well. Today we're here to celebrate the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which there's no question in my mind is one of the greatest legislative achievements for people with disabilities. And I think one of the greatest civil rights legislation, one of the greatest civil rights legislation to ever come out of Congress. It was signed in July of 1990 by President Bush Sr., H.W. Bush. It was just truly one of the most comprehensive human rights pieces of legislation. It prohibited discrimination against people with disabilities. And what a fight it was. And I know many of you have seen the film footage of the crawl up the Capitol steps, but this was a process that took years of organizing and effort nationwide. And so many disability advocacy heroes were behind the development of this legislation. And we're very grateful to them. It really has allowed people with disabilities to have, the same opportunities as others in mainstream activities, to enjoy opportunities like career and business and family and recreation, and not be limited, to have access and support, both in healthcare, physically and emotionally. But a major part of this is really equal access and the removal of barriers, and removal of barriers throughout. And that's really what we're talking about. Many of you certainly face the problems getting into buildings or public arenas. Housing can be very, very difficult, and ADA addresses these. It addresses certainly services and the types of services that should be given, and Oregon has some of the best service provision in the nation. One of the key areas that we'll be addressing today is employment. And ADA addresses employment in great ways, and you should read the statute sometime. It really is very comprehensive. And it's really around no bias, no discrimination, making accommodations. Certainly, the commission sits on the Oregon Board of Building Codes and Standards, and that certainly is we are able to have a major say there. But also, other areas, healthcare, access to services, confidentiality, access to transportation, buses, trains, cars, access to disability parking, coverage for service animals. And certainly in this age, technical age, certainly telecommunications becomes critically important. And certainly at the time, they had no idea where technology would lead us, but to have functionally equivalent services for people with disabilities, and particularly for the deaf and hard of hearing, that is critically important. We still have a long ways to go towards towards ending discrimination for people with disabilities. But we've made tremendous strides with ADA, and we'll continue to fight the fight against bias and discrimination. And we have a lot of great people doing that with the Oregon Disabilities Commission, and certainly the Oregon Disability Health and Employment Equity Coalition that I co-chair, and so many others, Disability Rights Oregon. There's so many that's doing great stuff and continuing to fight the fight. So anyway, thank you for having me today. I always love being a part of this.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Next up is the current Oregon Disabilities Commission Chair, Mark King, to talk about ODC. So, Mark.
Thank you. I am Mark King, the chair of the ODC. I would like to give a brief description of what the ODC does. And the ODC's mission is to secure economic, social, legal, and political justice for individuals with disabilities through system changes. To carry out this mission, the ODC identifies and hears the concerns of individuals with disabilities and uses the information to prioritize public policy issues which should be addressed. Prioritize the needs and concerns of individuals with disabilities as they relate to the full achievement of economic, social, legal, and political equality. Educates and advises the Department of Human Services, the governor, the Legislative Assembly, and appropriate state agencies, administrators, and on how public policy can be improved to meet the needs of individuals with disabilities. And that's a brief description of what the ODC does. And with that, I'd like to turn back to Joseph.
All right. Thank you, Mark. So next up is our co-partners and sponsors of putting this event on for you. We have Melissa Roy Hart representing Disability Rights Oregon, and John Doris representing Northwest ADA Center. So, Melissa.
Hi, Joseph. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa Roy Hart. I'm Communications Director for Disability Rights Oregon, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a Caucasian woman in my 50s. I have gray shoulder length hair and a blue shirt on that I'm realizing now blends into my background and glasses. I am really excited that there are so many people here today. I've been, going through all the photos in the gallery and all the names. And just to be here with everyone, our sponsors and just all the people doing this work and here to celebrate this landmark law. So the ADA celebration is one of my favorite times of year. Disability Rights Oregon, just a little bit about us. We're a nonprofit watchdog organization. We protect and defend the rights of people with disabilities across the state. So we're statewide, and then a lot of our work related to today also goes into all of the counties in Washington that border Oregon. So know that as well, even though our name is Disability Rights Oregon, some of our work does go into Southern Washington. We've, since 1977, we've been Oregon's federally mandated protection and advocacy system. If you don't know what that is a government created oversight system where there's one of us in every state and territory. And we basically protect and defend the rights of people with disabilities. We do it through individual litigation, class action lawsuits, information referral. We promote policies that help our community. We monitor conditions in the places where our community lives. And then a big part of the ADA celebration for us is we do a lot of work to empower people with disabilities so you all can self-advocate. Our movement has always been led by people with disabilities, and we know and respect that. And so we provide a lot of trainings like what we're going to do today and resources. We're excited to have 2 staff people here today. So yeah, that's enough about us. I'm going to kick it to John at ADA, Northwest ADA.
Hi, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Doris. I'm the Assistant Director of the Northwest ADA Center. I have silvery hair with a brownish beard, also wearing glasses today, wearing an orange, blue kind of checkered shirt because I really wish it was fall already. And I have a background image of the Seattle Space Needle because I'm based in Seattle. The Northwest ADA Center is Region 10 of the national network of ADA centers. Region 10 includes Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. So we provide services, information, guidance about the ADA to our region. The ADA centers were created shortly after the passage of the ADA. They've been called different things over time, but originally and continuing to today, the mission is to encourage voluntary enforcement of the ADA. And we provide information, guidance to a wide variety. Anyone that calls our hotline number is confidentially provided information about the ADA. So for today's topic, we get a lot of businesses that call, we get a lot of employees that call, we get Title II entities, we get people who have different questions. So it's meant to give guidance and information. We never act as an advocate because there are other organizations that do that, and that could jeopardize us being seen as a neutral third party that simply wants to help people understand the ADA. And while there are lawyers that work for the ADA centers, I'm an attorney admitted in Florida. We don't provide legal representation or legal advocacy. It's purely for helping people understand the ADA. So either through the hotline, email, and through trainings that we periodically do throughout the month. I will put our contact information, our phone number and email in the chat. And I encourage you, if you ever have questions about the ADA, if you need some clarification, to reach out. Happy to help out. Thank you very much. Back to you, Joseph.
All right, thank you. So normally at this time, we also introduce you to our panel members by showing you their photo and reading their bios. But today we have a large panel. And so to give them more time, we've agreed to skip that part of the process If you want to read their bios to learn a little more about them, you can go to the event page website. I will put the link in the chat, but they are going to take time to introduce themselves as they do their presentation today. So panel members, it is now your show.
Panel members, please turn on your camera so I can find you.
Good morning. My name is Melanie Hartwig.
Please
I work with the
hold on. Please hold on so I can pin you. Okay, Melanie, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Melanie Hartwig. I work with the Oregon Department of Human Services, Office of Developmental Disability Services. I am a Caucasian person with brown hair and brown eyes, and I'm wearing glasses, and my background is my office. We are joining you today to talk about working towards equal access employment for people with disabilities. And I got the opportunity to facilitate this panel of experts that we're going to hear from today. Can we go to the next slide, please? So our agenda for today is we're going to do a session introduction, and then we're going to go through a panel of presenters, subject matter experts that are going to share information with us. And then we'll have an opportunity to for you to ask questions, and we can answer them at the end of the panel sharing. And we have resources pages that we'll review with you, and then a conclusion. Next slide. So as part of the American Disabilities Act 35th anniversary celebration, for today's presentation, we have the opportunity to learn from people who experience a disability and have lived experience with working in Oregon. Additionally, we have several organizations joining us that assist with ensuring people who experience disabilities have the same rights as anyone else in their communities. We will learn from the experts, self-advocates sharing their experience in employment and how it has helped them live their lives how they want. We will hear about their work and benefits. We will learn why it's important that people who experience disabilities have access to organizations that help them achieve their goals while maintaining their benefits and their assets. We will learn about organizations that help people with their employment goals and help them understand how to access accommodations, achieve their career goals, and maintain their benefits and assets throughout their employment journey. Next slide, please. So we have, these are our panel representatives, and I'm not gonna go through all of them. If you would like more information about each of these individuals on the ADA Celebration website for today's presentation, there are biographies and pictures for each panel member, and they will be introducing themselves as well as they do their presentation. Next slide, please. So at this point, we would like to invite Eric Thompson to share about his work experience here in Oregon. And Eric, can you come off mute and share about your work?
Yeah, I'm off mute. My name is Eric Thompson. I'm 39 years old, and I have autism. Having autism is hard because sometimes it is difficult to know what is happening around me, what to say during conversations, and knowing how to be more professional at work. I really like hanging out with my friends, going to movies, bowling, golfing, spending time with my nieces and nephews, reading books, art, and writing stories. Some of my accomplishments are becoming an Eagle Scout, running 20 marathons, learning to live on my own, being the accompanist for my church, and serving in the temple for many opportunities. But most importantly, I have a great job. Before I graduated high school in 2005, I worked at Jiffy Lube as a courtesy technician, where I vacuumed, checked tires, and washed windows, as well as being courteous to customers. Soon after, I came to Living Opportunities for vocational assessments. I tried out jobs in data entry, scanning, Head Start, classroom volunteer, and the library. I was matched at a job at Medford City Hall. I was the mail carrier there for 7 years. Living Opportunities helped me get this job, and later, Rogue Credit Union offered me a job. For the first 2 years, I was working with lending, doing data entry, dealer contracts, and preparing letters. Now, I am an official member of Rogue Credit Union. I am the mail clerk. I handle all the needs in the mail for all the departments and branches. I drive to the post office, meter the mail, deliver mail to the South Branch, and the building across from it, and sort for all the departments. I also have extra tasks to help myself stay productive. My supervisors and job coach help me understand how to do my job better, create professional relationships, and visual structure for my success. I've had some barriers understanding social rules and when to ask questions. To make it easier, I have support by having a notebook to write my questions in. Because of my job, I have money to spend on things that I need and want. I have freedom to do the things I want to do, just like other people who do or do not have disabilities. When I go to work, I want to be professional and maintain a professional relationship. Because of my autism, that is hard to do. I have gained self-confidence and respect for myself. Rogue Credit Union and my coworkers depend on me. I like helping others and doing an important job. When I work, I feel productive and my day is filled with good things. Everybody needs a job or a place where they feel valued and important. I have a lot of skills and talents which I use. In addition to my job, my boss and supervisor have set goals for me to follow and write on a calendar to keep myself accountable. Same thing is true with reading books about work. My purpose is to summarize what I learn and find ways to incorporate it. My job gives me a purpose and I feel secure. I also am a leader of the Jackson County Self-Advocates here in Medford, Oregon. Through this group and the Oregon Self-Advocacy Coalition, I work to ensure people with disabilities have a voice in our community, as well as having fun and learning new skills. I know for myself that having autism is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. I've learned that I can do hard things. People with disabilities deserve to have the support they need. They deserve to have a job that fits their skills. They deserve to have a fair wage as well as support staff to help them live the life they want. And also have benefits like medical care, Oregon Trail Card, and disability benefits through Oregon Care Advantage, which will help them get things that they need. They deserve to have fair housing and the ability to advance in their careers and save for their future without losing their benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. We appreciate that. Can we go to the next slide, please? And Corinne?
Hey, I'm Corinne Schramm. I use she, her pronouns. I am a middle-aged white woman with long, mostly purple hair. I'm wearing a white tank top and glasses today. I work at Disability Rights Oregon. I'm a supervising attorney. I have been there since January of 2022. I supervise the Project Independence team, and our focus is accommodations. And we typically do individual advocacy, not really much of the litigation, but individual advocacy in employment, housing, transportation, public accommodations. Our main focus, I would say, would be housing and employment and barriers to employment. So that's where transportation comes in. I also oversee the CAP program, which is Client Assistance Program, and we are the dispute resolutions place for people who are getting services through vocational rehabilitation. There are 3 of us on my team. There are 2 attorneys and 1 advocate. We also work on some overarching projects, research projects. We currently have one going on that is about healthcare access for Oregonians with disabilities. I did want to also add that I am also a quadriplegic, so I'm a member of the disability community, and I think that gives me a unique perspective when working with my clients. I think it gives me a good background and source of relatability. I understand and live through what a lot of my clients experience. And that's about it.
Thank you, Corinne.
And can I have just a second to go on mute? Wake up. Mouse click.
And we can go to the next slide, please. Ted, can you share some information about the Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries with us, please?
Yes, my name is Ted Wenk. I'm Operations Manager for the Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries, known as BOLI, B-O-L-I. I Caucasian, he, him pronouns. I have a red beard that's gradually turning gray. And I'm wearing a black kind of polo shirt, cotton polo shirt. I'm in the Civil Rights Division of BOLI, and previously I've worked for disability advocacy organizations in Oregon and for legal aid services in Michigan prior to that. I managed the Civil Rights Division investigators on their investigations of complaints regarding civil rights, including Title I ADA employment complaints. And I thank you for your invitation to be here today. BOLI enforces federal and state laws that protect people with disabilities against discrimination in terms, conditions, privileges of employment. This includes such things as pay, an accessible workplace, and reasonable accommodations. Note that BOLI is neutral in the investigative process, but will prosecute cases where a violation was established at investigation. BOLI investigators cannot provide legal advice or advocacy to either party in a case or witnesses. To have an investigation opened, our website is the best place to start, www.oregon.gov/BOLI. Click on the For Workers tab in the upper left and follow the links from there. After reviewing the information, complete a questionnaire and submit it on the complaint portal. There's a place on the portal now to request disability accommodations if you will be needing reasonable accommodations in the course of the investigation or to complete your charge. The next step is that an administrator reviews all the questionnaires for being within our jurisdiction, the 75 laws that we enforce within the Civil Rights Division. Then the questionnaire is assigned to an intake staff who can help the complainant by verifying information, asking questions about the claims, and putting together a formal complaint. Once a formal complaint is drafted by the intake staff, it's sent for review and signature. When the charge draft is signed and submitted, then a case is deemed as filed and opened. BOLI then has 1 year from the signing of the charge to conduct the investigation. When a case is opened, the complaining party has an opportunity to submit supportive evidence, and the employer has an opportunity to file a response to the charge. There is more information about the process on our website. I was asked today to present some data regarding our cases today, as well as giving an overview. So I'm going to segue into some data that I have. First, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics maintains a monthly unemployment rate. In 2023, 22.5% of people with disabilities were employed, and that's the highest recorded ratio since comparable data was first collected in 2008. Note that people with disabilities are more likely to work in service occupations than were those with no disabilities, more likely to work in production, transportation, material, sorry about that, moving occupations, and were more likely to work in sales and office occupations than were their counterparts with no disabilities. There are also disparities presented based on intersectionality of other protected classes such as race and national origin, and those that data was at least on the U.S. Bureau of Labor website at some point. In terms of Civil Rights Division in 2024, 9% of our complaints involve age, 31% involve disability, 10% family leave, 8% injured worker, 7% national origin, 9% retaliation for making an occupational safety complaint, 16% involve race or color, 54% of the cases involve whistleblowing or retaliation for invoking rights, whether under BOLI or other workplace protection statutes, 34% involve sex or gender, 7% involve sick leave, 15% involve religion. Obviously, this adds up to more than 100%, as many cases involve multiple bases, protected bases. BOLI has a work share agreement with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission to investigate laws that are comparable under the state law to the federal law. This is known as a co-filed case where one agency or the other will investigate a complaint. EEOC also tracks data. The nationwide data fairly well tracks along with the state data in terms of the bases that I just set forth kind of quickly. Two nodules with differences that are more race claims in terms of the bases are filed nationally as a percentage, and more religion cases, base cases are filed in Oregon than on the national level. Other than that, they pretty much follow similar numbers, including disability. One difference as to cause findings is that age violations have been found less often as a percentage than other bases. And obviously that affects disabilities as well. Now our website is given as a resource link at the end of the presentation. And I thank you for your time today and the opportunity to be back again at this great event.
Thank you so much, Ted. As he said, resources and links to websites are in our resources, and we will go over them after the presentation. Now we'll hear from Emily.
Hello, my name is Emily Ross. I am the Work Incentive Planning and Assistance Program Manager for Disability Rights Oregon. We call the program WIPA. I am a middle-aged, hate using that word, middle-aged Caucasian woman with brown hair that's graying, pulled up in a bun. I'm wearing a black and red shirt you might not be able to see, and a black little cover-up. I am also legally blind myself, so at times you might see me leaning into the screen. I apologize. My background is the Legos that I build, so you might be able to see those. I started working with Disability Rights Oregon in the WIPA program 8.5 years ago as the intake specialist while receiving Social Security disability benefits. After working with the program for a short period of time, I realized that I wanted to actually do the work that the benefits planners were doing, and I made a conscious decision to work myself off of my disability benefits. And a few years later, I got to become the program manager, which was pretty incredible. So our program, the WIPA program, is one of 74 programs that is throughout the country, Washington, D.C., and all the territories. We have a grant through Social Security to be able to provide benefits planning and assistance to Social Security disability-based beneficiaries who are over the age of 14 to retirement age, who are in our service area. Our service area is all of Oregon and actually 10 counties in the southern Washington state area, and who are currently working or have a desire to pursue employment. Next slide, please. I should also say that our goal is to enable Social Security beneficiaries to find their financial independence, whatever that means for them. So for some people, that's not going to be working themselves off of their benefits, whatever is a very client or beneficiary directed program. So we provide information and referral services to people, letting them know other resources that might be available to them. We provide benefits analysis, including a benefit summary and analysis report that basically gives them a roadmap of where they're at, what their goal is, and what it's going to look like as they're traveling down that road. And it's a fluid document that can change as goals change along the way. We provide intensive work incentive planning, providing them with resources and tools that they can use on their path. And we also, because our cases never close, we provide ongoing benefits management, being able to provide assistance with them as they continue down that employment path for several years. In fact, I am currently still working with and hear from the first person I was ever assigned. And so in essence, we're here to help provide people with an understanding of how work impacts their benefits, helping to achieve their financial stability, and helping them achieve the life that they want to achieve. Next slide, please. You can call if you're currently receiving a Social Security disability-based benefit, that would be Social Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, a Social Security Childhood Disability Benefit, SSCDB, or Social Security Disabled Widow or Widower's Benefit, SSDWB. Please feel free, and you're interested in working or are currently working, you can contact the Ticket to Work helpline at the number on the slide. You can also reach out to our WIPA intake line, which is listed at the bottom of the page, or you can email us, and we're happy to provide you with assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. And this PowerPoint that we're sharing today with the resources will be available to attendees. Just reach out to Joseph Lowe at the ADA Celebration website. Next slide, please. Oh, Katie, can you share with us about WIN?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Mijares Thompson. I'm a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, and today I'm wearing an olive-colored blouse with a camel blazer. I am one of the Work Incentive Network program managers, so I'm the technical assistant, trainer, and administrator of the Work Incentive Network program through Department of Human Services. We are very similar to Disability Rights Oregon WIPA program that Emily just presented, with a few key differences. So like WIPA, we provide information referral services, analysis and advisement, ongoing benefits management for any Oregonian with a disability who is receiving some sort of benefit. So we not only advise Social Security beneficiaries, but our veterans. We help folks understand how their employment and their employment income impacts other benefits such as Medicaid, HUD housing, a variety of benefits. You know, we work with tribes and we work with tribes to understand tribal benefits and how these systems commingle and impact. Again, very similar to Emily's program, the ultimate goal is whatever the individual decides it to be, right? So if you want to work off your benefits, we help you understand the policies and the law to make that happen. If someone does not want to work off their benefit, we also help understand and folks navigate the rules and systems in order to do that. So I have a clickable link here, our website, the Work Incentives Network. We have our Oregon Department of Human Services website, clickable here. Might have just been popped into the chat. You can give us a call anytime at 1-800-661-2571. We call that our WIN help desk. So if anyone has a question, doesn't know where to start, or even wants to make a referral, or if you just want to self-refer, you can give us a call there and I will call you back, or the other program manager will call you back. So we, as the technical assistants, monitor that line and we're available to you through that line. Or we monitor this inbox, win.refer@odhs.oregon.gov, and you can reach us there. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Next slide, please. Kim?
Hi, my name is Kim Randall, and I'm an Operations and Policy Analyst with the Oregon Department of Human Services Aging and People with Disabilities program. I'm a Caucasian woman with blonde hair. I'm wearing a tilt top today, and my background is a waterfall. I'm here to talk about the Employed Persons with Disabilities program. It's also known as EPD. And I'll start with a little bit of history about the program. Next slide, please. EPD was established through a state plan amendment after the Balanced Budget Action of 1997. There was an amendment enacted in 1998, and EPD began in February of 1999. The program is intended to help individuals with disabilities maintain Medicaid coverage while working. The program has steadily grown since its enactment and has nearly doubled in the number of participants from August of 2014 to August of 2024. In August of 2014, there were 1,740 participants, and in August of 2024, there were 3,021 participants. Talk about eligibility next. You'll go to the next slide, please. To be eligible for EPD, individuals must be determined to have a disability by either the Social Security Administration or by the state's presumptive Medicaid disability determination team. They must have adjusted income below 250% of the federal poverty level, countable resources of less than $5,000, be employed, and meet all other non-financial eligibility factors for OSIP-M medical. There is a participant fee, if you'll go to the next slide. Most people who participate in the EPD program pay a participant fee, and that fee is determined based on the individual's countable earned and unearned income. The most common amount that people pay is $100. I want to talk about a bill that has been introduced next. If you'll go to the next slide. So a bill has been submitted multiple times to the legislature to make some changes to the EPD program. And as of today, none of the bills have made it past the Ways and Means Committee. If the bill were to pass in a future legislative session, it would eliminate the income and resource limits for the EPD program. It would lower the age requirement from 18 to 16, and it would allow individuals who have been determined to be medically improved, meaning they're no longer disabled, to continue on EPD rather than being closed for not meeting that basis of need. The elimination of the income limits would allow individuals with disabilities to accept higher level positions and promotions. And also, it would allow EPD participants to save for things that's not related to their disability. So right now, participants are allowed to save for disability-related expenses through what we call an approved account. But if we were to eliminate that resource limit, then those individuals could save for things like a home or a vacation. So it opened that up for other, opportunity. And could you go to the next slide, please?
Okay, looks like I'm up. My name is Andrew Caruana, speaking. I use he, him pronouns. For those who are able to see me, I have shortish, curly, brown blonde hair. I'm a white man, early 20s. I've got brown glasses and I'm wearing a white shirt. I am a member of the Oregon Disabilities Commission, and I'm also the Legislative Advocacy Coordinator for the Disability Health and Employment Equity Coalition. I have quadriplegic cerebral palsy, and so I use a wheelchair about 60% of the time. But I am considered fully disabled, and although I'm fully disabled, I'm currently in a master's counseling program to get my LPC so that I can be a mental health practitioner. Um, but one of the things that is tricky about being in school to get a job is that under current EPD income and asset limits, it would unfortunately price me out of being able to stay on benefits while working the job that I'm currently getting training for, which is one of the reasons that I became so heavily involved in the Disability Health and Employment Equity Coalition, which was kind of the main advocacy group pushing for Senate Bill 20 in all three sessions that it's been introduced so far. Of course, in the two prior sessions, it had different bill numbers. But yeah, like Kim said, Senate Bill 20, had it passed, would have been really monumental in helping folks with disabilities be able to save and earn more without fear of losing needed health benefits. It would allow folks with disabilities to be able to save up for things like first and last month's rent, housing, a vacation every once in a while, and other things as well that would just bring a lot of quality of life to the EPD program, which, although is a wonderful program, has been in need of some updates. But of course, as Kim said, we have been unable to make it past the Ways and Means hurdle in the legislature so far. But I don't think we're done trying just yet. And then the other place that I serve is in the Oregon Disabilities Commission, which Mark, our chair, did a wonderful job of explaining at the beginning of this panel. We do a lot of work, both through advising various state agencies in the legislature and the governor's office, but also pursuing sort of different advocacy projects and being liaisons to different other state boards and commissions to offer sort of a disability perspective to things from transportation to disaster, emergency preparedness to health insurance and employment. So we cover a lot of ground and we do a lot of good work. And I should also mention Jim, who gave sort of a brief overview of the history of the ADA and the ADA celebration at the beginning, is the co-chair of the Disability Health and Employment Equity Coalition, and he's a great guy, does great work as well. And I think that's all I've got. Next slide.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
And John, we're going to hear from John Valley next about ABLE Saving Program.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. My name is John Valley, pronouns he, him, his. I am Caucasian. I have brown hair. I'm wearing glasses. I'm in my early 50s. And I work at the State Treasury Department, which is where I'm sitting right now to share information about the ABLE program. There is a more full, comprehensive PowerPoint presentation that people can access that has a little more details about the ABLE program if you're interested. On this slide, there's a customer service line that people can access that has multi-languages if people don't have English as their first language. In addition, you see our OregonAbleSavings.com website where there's a ton of information as well. That being said, I just want to give a brief overview of what the ABLE program is and how it might be helping people, not only in Oregon, but across the country. It passed a little over 10 years ago. It is modeled after the Oregon College Savings Plan. So if anyone has heard of the Oregon College Savings Plan or has an Oregon College Savings Plan account, ABLE is similar in the sense that it's an after-tax program. It's designed to put money in, invest money. All the interest you're earning is tax-free as long as you use it for a disability-related living expense that improves that person's quality of life. So the person with the disability, whether that's a mental disability or a physical disability, has the opportunity to open up an ABLE account, put money in. Again, all that interest you're earning is tax-free, and you can use it for anything that improves that person's quality of life, ranging from healthcare costs, transportation costs, groceries. The way I remember it is that when they were doing the rulemaking for the law, there was a public comment period where parents were coming to a field hearing and IRS agents were taking the public comment. And there was a parent of an autistic child that said, I'd love to take my son to Disneyland. Can I use the money in the ABLE account to take my son to Disneyland. And I'm paraphrasing here, the response was, well, do you think it's going to improve your son's quality of life? And the parent came back and said, well, I certainly hope so. It's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. And that's the way I remember what you can use ABLE funds for. You can take your autistic son to Disneyland because it's going to improve his quality of life. Try to keep that in mind if you think of all the various things you can use ABLE funds for. The main reason it was created, though, and this is the thing that I hope people take away from when you think about the ABLE program, is that if you're receiving benefits for your disability, whether that's SSI, Medicaid, SSDI, you're not supposed to have more than $2,000 worth of assets or you'll lose your benefits. The money in the ABLE account does not count against that asset limit. So you can put money in the ABLE account, earn interest, have more than $2,000 in there to help pay for rent and your healthcare costs, and not worry about losing your benefits. So $3,000 or $4,000 in an ABLE account, you don't have to go through what a lot of people call the spend down issue. We're trying to get under that $2,000. Instead, you can have money in there, earning interest, and using it for disability-related living expenses that improves that person's quality of life. If you're a parent and you have a minor, you can manage that account on their behalf. If a person has a disability that prohibits them from actually managing the account themselves, you can have anywhere from a legal guardian, rep payee, or multiple other people who can manage the account on behalf of the person with the disability. As I said earlier, there's a lot of information that you can find on our website at OregonAbleSavings.com. There's also the customer service line that if you end up opening an account and have any questions, they can help walk you through that process. I'm really thankful to be here today. I know there's a lot of information that can be overwhelming. Hopefully the ABLE program and having an ABLE account is another tool in the toolbox to help navigate a sometimes challenging disability system. So with that, I am going to pass the baton to one of my fellow panelists who's after me.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it. My name is Melanie Hartwig, as I said at the beginning, and I work for the Oregon Department of Human Services Office of Developmental Disability Services. And we want to talk today, and I have two other people joining me who work in partnership with us as contractors who provide supported employment supports through the Office of Developmental Disability Services. And we want to talk just a little bit about the benefits of employment. And one of the benefits is a paycheck, which provides more choices, control, and independence in a person's life. Opportunities to maintain skills and learn new ones. Opportunities to teach and learn from others. And integration, relationships, and social connections in our community. We have two providers joining us today who help people maintain their benefits as a part of the services they provide. Through the Office of Developmental Disability Services, we have a service called Employment Path and Employment Path Benefits Counseling. And I'm going to have Cindy share a little bit about her organization that she works for and the services that she provides through the Office of Developmental Disabilities and also the partnership that we have with vocational rehabilitation. Cindy?
Hey everyone, my name is Cindy DeLashma. I am a middle-aged Caucasian woman. I use she, her pronouns. I have long brown hair in braids today, and I'm wearing a white shirt with dogs on it. And currently I'm in my office. I'm an employment manager at Living Opportunities. We're located here in Medford, Oregon, and support individuals throughout Jackson County with on-the-job training and continuous job coaching supports as needed. We work closely with the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation and ODDS, otherwise known as the Oregon Department of Disability Services. We provide pre-employment services such as job development, discoveries, and employment path. We started expanding our employment path program in 2019. In 2020, we had to scale back, but In 2023, we were awarded the CRATE grant to specifically build up our employment path program. We were able to hire a few more job coaches and were able to access specialized trainings that strengthen the tools and techniques our department uses. This also allowed for me to attend Cornell University's Work Incentive Practitioner program. I was certified last year and have slowly been implementing benefits counseling under the Employment Path service. Though what we offer under the Employment Path service has been successful for the people we support, adding benefits counseling has allowed us to provide more information for each of the people. Each person we support is unique in what they want to do, how many hours they want to work, and we are here to help support them in making a plan and implementing it. More specifically, our department, we work with the person receiving services. We are recognized as one of the largest providers in Southern Oregon, and I'm proud of our department. We work hand in hand with each person, their family, and staff to meet their employment goals. Thank you for having me, and here is Jennifer Denley from Premier.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Denley. I'm the Employment Services Manager with Premier Community Supports. I'm a Caucasian female with shoulder-length brown hair. I use she, her pronouns, and my background is my office. So, Premier has been providing IDD services throughout Oregon for 6+ years, and we support, I think we're at 22 counties now. We've been providing employment services in Douglas County specifically for almost a year now, and we plan to branch out to other counties in the future. At Premier, we work with individuals based on personal interest to find out who they are and what they would like to see for themselves in terms of their employment. And we identify any supports that are needed or wanted by the individual in the workplace. And then we help them find the most successful employment opportunities. We provide discovery, job development, job coaching, on-the-job attendant care, employment path solo, and then our employment path benefits counseling. We provide training in job skills, resume building, and interview preparation tailored to each individual's needs. And we offer job coaching, workplace accommodation assistance, and follow-up support to ensure long-term success. We customize our services to accommodate for various disabilities. We also work closely with community partners, our local CDDP and our brokerage, as well as our local VR office. Premier believes everyone should be given the opportunity to be part of their community workforce and have the knowledge to feel confident to work without the fear of losing their benefits. We know that individuals are given the opportunity to learn new skills through job-related services, and that can increase confidence and independence. Premier is dedicated to partnering with local businesses to create employment opportunities to individuals living with IDD that facilitate success within their communities. Thank you.
And just a little bit more about the Office of Developmental Disability Services. We work in collaboration through the main goal for Oregon Department of Human Services, which is to share resources, share programs, and positive work that we're doing with all the different organizations that we work with. So through vocational rehabilitation, through Oregon Commission for the Blind, through VR for veterans, tribal VR, all of the different Oregon Health Authority programs, we are working to share information, share programs that benefit people who experience disabilities around employment. And these collaboration efforts are foundation for all the work that we're doing and around what we've shared here today. So what we want to do now, next slide, please, is open it up for questions. You can raise your hand or you can put questions in the chat. If there's questions that we don't get to today, we want to provide a follow-up question and answer document So if you have questions and would like that follow-up document, please put your full name and email address in the chat so that we can send that to you. Additionally, with the resources and the PowerPoint, if you can put your full name and email address in the chat, then we will have access to send you the information. In this PowerPoint, if you have any trouble accessing the links, there's information here on how to access the hyperlinks or links from a drop-down menu. And then also, again, please put your full name in the chat. And we'd like to open it up now for questions. And if you want to ask a question or raise your hand, if you look down in the bottom panel of your Zoom link, there is a React button that you can click or put them in the chat. Or if you need to just come off mute, you can do that as well.
I have a question. My name's Rebecca. I work for Lane County. A frequent issue I see around is folks that are disabled in which it affects their employment, but not disabled enough for the usual sorts of supports and things. What kind of assistance is there for folks in that middle ground?
And maybe we can address that question to Corinne or Andrew, either one of you.
I can take it. It wouldn't necessarily be a matter of like benefits or anything, but if somebody needs some sort of accommodations at work to be able to do their job, DRO is a source that can help with that. There's also the Job Accommodations Network, which is a great online resource for anything involving accommodations at work.
And Kim, I don't know if you have anything you want to add around the employed persons with disabilities, Project Independence.
Yeah, so the person would need to meet the disability criteria through the Social Security Administration or the presumptive Medicaid determination team with the state, which looks at the same criteria as the Social Security Administration. So it depends on the person's situation on whether or not they would qualify for the Employed Persons with Disability program.
Looks like we have a couple raised hands. I think William was first.
My question is how the state's going to go and handle next year's start of the 6-month evaluation thing, or if that's just being thinking of.
It might just be my computer, but you're cutting out. I can't hear your full question.
I'm going to go and type it.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Next question.
Maria, I think you were next. Maria Delgado, you're still on mute, Maria Delgado.
Sí.
There you go.
Sí, gracias. ¿Sí me escuchan?
Do we have an interpreter? We can hear you.
¿Sí me escuchan con la interpretación?
Hold on.
Ok. Bueno, mi pregunta es si todos estos presentadores también tienen personal que hable español Y la otra es, yo tuve un caso hace años por salud emocional, por la depresión y cuestiones, complicaciones y diabetes y demás. Pero con el COVID se me ha complicado más. Tengo lo que le llaman el long COVID. El long COVID entra como deshabilidad, ¿ya? Gracias.
Hi, this is Carrie. Liz, can I change you over, or could you maybe type what Maria was talking about in the chat for our panelists? I cannot hear you. Should I switch you to English? Okay, hold on. I need to change to English.
If we have trouble with translation, if you can make sure that those questions are in the chat, whether they're in Spanish or English, doesn't matter. We will follow up and make sure that to answer those questions.
I heard both. This is Rose Miller, and I believe the primary question to be answered was if long COVID can be considered a disability.
And I do not have an answer to that
Okay.
question. Does anyone else on the panel know?
I believe it can. If
But
it affects, a major life activity.
Social Security would need to make that determination, though.
In that context.
Yeah.
As far as like work accommodations, it would be something that could that would qualify for accommodations.
The other question that she was asking was which agencies have personnel who speak Spanish? The Work Incentive Network does, but I'll let everyone else speak to that for their agencies.
We use interpreters that we can call into interpreters and we can have access to interpreters at the Plan for Work program.
Same with Project Independence. If we're doing an intake, we can call in for interpreter services.
And we
For
have
the ABLE
access.
program, there is a translators for not just Spanish, but multiple languages from our customer service line that I mentioned earlier, if you're wanting to have questions answered about the ABLE program.
And through the Office of Developmental Disabilities, we can access translation as well when needed.
Wanted to make sure, just really quick before we get to other hands, there was a question up in chat from a bit ago. It was translated that I think John probably would be able to answer. For the ABLE account, do you need to provide proof of where the money comes from when depositing money into the account?
It's a great question. Thanks for flagging it. No, there is no requirement of where the money comes from. We don't check any of that. And I should just mention, as it relates to the person is qualified based on their disability, it's a self-certification process, meaning there is a doctor that says that you meet the Social Security Administration's definition of being disabled. But we don't have the capacity to do a background medical history on everyone who opens up an ABLE account. So if you ever get audited, make sure there's a doctor or medical professional that says you meet the definition of being disabled. But we don't collect that when we do that, nor do we verify wherever money or contributions are coming from.
Okay, thank you.
John, how
Thanks
often
for flagging that.
John, how often do people get audited?
How many people get audited?
Yeah, or like why?
I don't have any of those figures in front of me. What I can say is that it is probably unlikely that you're going to get audited based on using an ABLE account. That we haven't heard of that happening. I can't say that it won't happen, but based on the tax benefits you get from having an ABLE account, it's not a lot of money. And if you're committing fraud, the fact that you would try to earn money by having an ABLE account would be kind of not the best use of time, let's just put it that way. But I don't know the actual numbers of how often people get audited that have an ABLE account. At least I'm not aware of very many here in Oregon.
I think Amy was next on the hands raised.
Thank you. I have two questions really. The first is I have a customer who was employed and signed up for EPD, was paying $100 a month offset for maintaining his medical benefits while employed. When he had to leave his position due to increased medical complications and a hospitalization, we were told that he had to continue to pay half of that fee in order to maintain his benefits, even though he was no longer employed. So I'm wondering how that happens. That doesn't make any sense to me, nor his direct payee. So.
Okay, so I'm going to address that. So please contact the department or have the auth rep or the individual and ask for a hardship in that situation because they're no longer employed, and that should be granted. Should be. I'm going to say should.
Okay.
We will consider a hardship in that situation.
And I'm sorry, you said contact who again?
The eligibility worker.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we do have the website and the information in the PowerPoint for you to access and go back to after this presentation.
Okay.
Hey, Melanie, real quick, I see in the chat there's a little conversation going about onset of age of eligibility of your disability for Enable account. I just want to clarify that. Yeah, I see some things going on. Currently, the onset of your disability had to have taken place before you were 26 years old. That is going to change to 46 on January 1st of next year. But what that means is, I just want to clarify, currently, if you have Down syndrome and are 46 years old, your disability took place before you were 26. So you could open up an Able account. If I was walking down the street right now, got hit by a car, and now I'm paralyzed and a quadriplegic, I would not be able to open up an Able account because my disability took place after I was 26. So it's key when the disability took place. Currently, if it happened before you were 26 years old, you can open up an Able account. Starting on January 1st, if it happened before you were 46 years old, you would be able to open up an Able account. Or on behalf of someone who has a disability when they had that take place before they were 26 or 46 as of January 1st. I hope that makes sense. I'm happy to follow up if there needs more clarification on that.
Thank you, John.
And I did have one other question. And I apologize, this might have been addressed. I was interrupted a couple times. But so the customer I previously mentioned, he has improved and wants to return to work through the assistance of job services. And he is on a waiting list that doesn't seem to have an end. So I'm wondering if we have any improved expectations moving forward in getting through some of these new applicants for job services.
And what program are you asking about? Is that employed persons with disabilities or
Voc Rehab?
I can talk to that a little bit. Voc Rehab is currently in an order of selection due to funding. And so it's complicated, but they have different categories, and everybody currently is on a wait list unless they were already in plan. And that just started, I don't know the exact date, but it was in June, I believe, around June 14, that order of selection went into effect. The people who are going to get services first are the people who are in going to be in like category 1 when they open up category 1. And that'll be people with the most significant disabilities. So it could be a while. I do know that there's another way to go if you are eligible for ODDS services. I think they have some employment services that could be utilized in the interim.
And
But
I can
voc is
speak
gonna
to
be hard to
that
get
if
into for a while.
this is Melanie Hartwig, and I can speak to that if you have questions about job development or employment services during VR's order of selection. We have a lot of guidance through our organization to help people move forward with their employment journey. And we have resources, our Employment First website, and contact information for our community liaisons in this PowerPoint to help you if you are supporting someone who experiences an intellectual or developmental disability around employment. And also our panelist members through Disability Rights of Oregon and the other organizations, you can reach out to them as well for services or information around advocacy or accessibility or accommodations.
Okay.
Thank
you.
And I was also say if they're not receiving, if they don't qualify for ODDS services and they receive a Social Security disability-based benefit, they could also reach out to an employment network potentially. So that would be another avenue to go. And you can access and find the employment networks by going to the Ticket to Work website, which is that's listed on the list of resources at the very end. The website, I mean.
And we are actually running out of time, and we want to make sure we have the ability to share those resources real quick from the PowerPoint, and also do share our conclusion before we leave today. So can we go back to the PowerPoint, please?
Should I just say that Jacob and Jim, if you want to type your questions into the chat, or if you can type your questions in the chat, we can make sure that you get answers to the questions that you have.
And please put your email and full name in the chat as well, so we know who to send the answers to. All right, and so we've got quite a few resources here because we had so many incredible panel members sharing information. These are resources to all of the different organizations that the panel members work with or through. We have Disability Rights of Oregon, Disability Health and Employment Equity Coalition, Oregon Disability Commission, and Oregon Self-Advocacy Coalition. Next slide. We also have the website for the Bureau of Labor and Industry. And
I would like to say something before we hop off.
Yes, Eric. Okay, I'm going to just run through these real quick. We also have the Work Incentive Planning and Assistance through Disability Rights of Oregon and the Work Incentive Network. Also, the website for the ABLE Savings Plan. And next slide, please. Also, we have the resources from Adults and People with Disabilities, Employed People with Disabilities Program, and our website for Oregon Employment First, and the community liaison contacts if you have questions about employment supports for people who experience intellectual and developmental disabilities through the Office of Developmental Disability Services. Next slide, please. Eric, did you want to share before I do the conclusion?
Yeah, I've been very grateful to be a part of this. I've also been putting things in the chat about myself as well. So I have been involved in a lot of advocacy events, as well as Riley Newport, who actually has been on this call. He helped me understand what it was like to start my own advocacy group, and I'm very appreciative of him. And I also had a lot of help from Voc Rehab. Did my own occupational skills training, got my certificate from there. Creative Supports also helped me be able to have support with the job that I found through Living Opportunities. And I also have been part of Road Credit Union as a member for almost 9 years now. Yeah, I just have had a lot of accomplishments, and I definitely like to share those experiences that I've had. So I've been fortunate to be a part of these opportunities because they've meant a lot to me, and I'm grateful to move forward with it.
Thank you so much, Eric. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate everyone who has been on this panel and shared all of this incredible information with us. So, in conclusion, just like to share that every person has dreams and goals in their life. Every person has gifts and talents to share. Being productive, providing for ourselves, saving for needs and wants is part of the human experience. All people need assistance at different times throughout their lives. No one should be excluded from working towards a full and meaningful life due to hurdles or barriers they face. If we all work together in collaboration, sharing our knowledge, experiences, processes, and procedures, we can ensure equity for everyone. We must ensure we are learning from the experts about what is needed to achieve a fulfilling life. These are the self-advocates who live the journey every day. This 35th anniversary celebration of the Americans with Disabilities Act is one step in the continuing our momentum to making sure people who experience disabilities have the same rights as everyone else in their communities. Next slide, please. So thank you so much for joining us today. Joseph, is there anything you would like to add?
All right. Thank you all for the presentation today. That was definitely informational, and seems like the audience was enjoying every bit of it. So great job, panel members. I do know there's been a lot of requests asking for the PowerPoint, and people's dropping their emails. I am dropping a link in the chat. I've dropped it a few times already. The presentation materials and a recording of the video will eventually be on the ADA Celebration website. And so give us roughly about a month, because we also embed the recording of the video with captioning. And then we will post it onto that website, and it will be accessible for everyone that was wanting a copy of it. So after that, next up is, all I was going to say is thank you for coming. We hope it was as informational for you as I think it was. Quick advertisement for next week is our week for our guest presenters, Hannah and Shane Burkhall, which is also known as Squirmy and Grubs on social media. They are relationship bloggers where Shane is a person who uses a power wheelchair, and Hannah is his wife and is his caregiver. So they will be here next week to chat with us and share a little bit about their life living as an interabled couple. So if you've not registered for that one, make sure you do go and get registered. It should be a very entertaining and fun session next week. So thank y'all for coming, and hope to see you next week.
Wake up. Mouse click.